Hey everybody, Gecko here. Out for my nightly walk. It's a bit on the chilly side, so I got my hoodie on. And I know yesterday's walk and talk was kind of boring, probably. It was just, a general update. I didn't really have much of anything to talk about. This is something that I do with my hoodie to keep it out of my eyes. Anyway, tonight I did have something I kind of wanted to talk about. Let me turn you around. So, it is recording. What I wanted to talk about, yesterday I kind of touched on the people that kind of influenced me in thru hiking on YouTube. That being Brewer from backcountrybanter.com and Dixie, homemadewanderlust.com, and Nightcrawler. Early Riser 71, and then also Nightcrawler and a couple of others, IBTAT, Google, Baskets. I've watched all of their thru hikes, but the one thing that I noticed about all of them, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight, was the sheer fortitude and will to undertake something like hiking the Appalachian Trail and seeing it through to completion, no matter the hardships, the trials, the tribulations, the heartbreak. They had a mission, whether it was to prove to themselves that they could do it or to find some sort of healing or just to find themselves. They undertook the thru hike and they succeeded. Not only did they succeed, they thrived through sheer fortitude and strength of will. And there's been others that I wouldn't have thought could have made it, like Red Mage on YouTube. And I hope he'll forgive me for saying so, but he was overweight and not extremely athletic. I mean, he was a gamer. He would sit on his couch and play video games, and he delivered pizzas for Pizza Hut in Louisiana. When he started his thru hike, I didn't really foresee him finishing, but he did. He took it at his own pace. He never did really large miles. It took him more like 7 or 8 months to complete it. But he did it. He summited Katahdin and he achieved his goal. And I admire that in these people. Like Dixie, when she did the Appalachian Trail, she'd never been on an overnight backpacking trip ever in her life. And she found a tramley that supported her and helped her, and she made it. And not only did she summit Katahdin and complete that thru hike, she went on to do the PCT, the CDT, the Camino de Santiago, and most recently, the Florida Trail. I say this with great admiration. That woman's a beast. I mean, she hikes it and gets it done. And she's been such an inspiration to the thru hiking community as a whole. With her gear reviews and her tips and hacks. There's no better person on YouTube to watch about thru hiking than Dixie, in my humble opinion. Hold on, let me shut you off. These dogs are noisy again. Okay, I'm back. And Red Mage was an inspiration. I mean, if he can hike the entirety of the Appalachian Trail, anybody can. If they have the willpower to see it done and the determination to not quit. Then you have Early Riser, who, from a psychological standpoint, put it into perspective of taking a break from the matrix, everyday life, and getting into your own headspace to figure things out. I mean, the important things in your life that mattered and why, and what you maybe needed to do in the future once you were done with the trail. And I just finished watching yesterday the movie A Walk in the Woods, based on Bill Bryson's thru hike of the Appalachian Trail. And if the movie is any real fact about his actual thru hike, from a technical standpoint, he never completed the trail. He didn't make it all the way to Katahdin, at least in the movie. I'd have to read his book, A Walk in the Woods, to see if it's any different from the movie. But in his mind, he completed what he set out to do. To basically reset his life and figure things out. And he did. He got exactly what he was hoping to get out of his journey. And in his mind, he did thru hike the Appalachian Trail. And I guess that would be in a more of a metaphorical sense of what the trail represents for you. To him, the trail taught him what he needed to learn about himself, and he accepted it and moved on with his life. And the trail did that for him. So in his mind, he thru hiked the Appalachian Trail because it was a successful thru hike in his eyes. Excuse me. And then you have people like Nightcrawler and IBTAT, who just goes to show you can be on the trail and you don't have to pretend to be anybody but who you are. Hold on. Okay, so I mean, IBTAT was straightforward, you know. I am who I am, and I'm not going to change to suit anyone else's image of me. I'm going to be myself. And he went out on the trail mainly I believe, as a journey of transformation and affirmation to his sobriety. And which is why his Instagram name is Saved by Mountains, because hiking in the mountains, it saved his life. It kept him sober. And dude, I admire that about you, if you ever watch this. And Nightcrawler, same thing. I mean, he isn't the most social person. I mean, he'll be the first to admit it, you know. He doesn't like being in crowds, but he's a character. I mean, he's got his personality, and it's him, and he's not going to change to suit anyone. And he's confident in himself, him and IBTAT, confident in themselves to be who they really are. And again, Nightcrawler did the Appalachian Trail without having done any other backpacking trips ever, and he succeeded. And not only did he succeed, he went on to thru hike the PCT and attempt the CDT. Even though he didn't quite make it all the way, I think he made it to Glacier, and then that was it. It was snowing too bad, and he decided to call it quits, which it was totally within his rights to do. And I can kind of, I had kind of that same situation happen to me when I tried to summit Flat Top Mountain with the storm clouds rolling over the top. I felt that it would be in my best interest to turn back and go back to the tree line. So I never actually completely summited Flat Top Mountain. But in my mind, I climbed it, you know. I may not have seen the plaque at the top, but I was close enough, and for reasons that were perfectly justifiable, I turned back. I just wish that I could have gone on. I think there was like a saddle to another peak, and on that other peak was the actual Continental Divide Trail. I wish I would have set foot on it, because, like, you know, as you know, I was supposed to thru hike the CDT this year, and I didn't get to. But, you know, I mentioned yesterday that I did find out that I don't have the right pack for the Appalachian Trail. I don't believe. It's going to be too big. And so I'm probably going to end up getting like a 45 or a 50 liter Osprey pack, because I do like Osprey. I have 2 Osprey packs now. I got the 65 liter ether, and then I have the small little daylighter pack, which is perfect for day hikes. And I'll take both packs out in a video and kind of review them for you. On how they've worked for me so far. I haven't actually used the 65 liter ether on a trail, but I did pack it and take it with me when I went to Colorado. Excuse me. I just don't think it's going to be too big to be on the Appalachian Trail, because, you know, you got almost, you're never on a section that's longer than like 4 or 5, 6 days before you can resupply. So there's not any need to have all that extra room because you're not going to use a bear canister. You don't even really need a tent, really, with as many shelters as there are on the trail. You could probably plan it out to where you'd stay in a shelter every night that you're out on the trail. But, you know, I would feel better being in a tent, really. At least, you know, at this point, not having been on the trail yet, I mean, I might get out there and actually like the shelters. I don't know. But I'm gonna, you know, trade my close nature 1.5 man tent. I mean, I'll keep it, but figuratively trade it for the Z-Pax Duplex 2-man tent, or something comparable to that. That's ultra lightweight, and it's going to serve my needs space-wise. Because I don't want to have to keep my pack outside of my tent. You know, just so the animals don't get into it. You know, the mice and the deer and the bears and stuff like that, the coyotes and whatnot. So, and then there's 2 other thru hikers that I want to mention, just because the thru hikes that they're doing is probably the grandfather of all thru hikes, distance-wise, in the United States, and that's the American Discovery Trail. There are 2 guys that I'm following hiking that trail this year, Alexander Sealing and Adventures with a Crazy Vet. They're both still hiking the trail. Alexander Sealing started January 1st, and he's by now he's probably through Colorado. The last video he posted like the day before yesterday was basically getting to the Colorado border, and that was like August 19th or something like that. So he would have been in the Denver area the same time that I was in Estes Park, which sucks. I would have loved to meet him. And when I was doing my planning for the CDT, I actually got in touch with Nightcrawler and IBTAT and was talking about it with them, you know, to possibly hike around them or with them. And Nightcrawler wasn't sure. He had originally said he wanted to re-hike the Appalachian Trail, but then he said he might, he was considering reattempting the CDT. And so I contacted him and said, hey, when are you looking on starting the CDT? I want to start with you, you know? And it ended up that he didn't hike the CDT this year. Him and Superclassy did the Mariposa Trail around Phoenix, Arizona. So, you know, you can watch their through hikes of that on either one of their channels. It was, honestly, I was watching Superclassy's and she was vastly disappointed with the trail. Just the sheer urbanness of it, you know. It wasn't like hiking in the wilderness. It was like hiking through subdivisions, you know. And I haven't completely watched Nightcrawler's trail videos yet either. Ever since I left for Estes Park, I haven't been watching any YouTube videos, really. I started yesterday, or last night. I got caught up with Alexander Sealing's through hike at the American Discovery Trail, and I'm currently going through the videos of Adventures with a Crazy Vet. That may be a trail that I might possibly consider in the future. It's just finding places to camp on that trail is difficult because it's not really an established trail like the Appalachian Trail, or I mean, it's an established trail, but it's a lot of road walking and going through like metropolitan cities. I mean, you go through Washington, D.C., and you go through Cincinnati and Omaha and Denver, and you know, and sometimes when you get close to the big metropolitan cities, there's not really many options to camp. Sometimes you have to stay in a hotel. That would be the biggest drawback for me. The second being that it's a year-long hike, bare minimum. I mean, so you're going to be hiking in the dead of winter in some places. So I don't like the cold. And I don't like the extremely hot. My comfort zone is around 70 degrees. 65, 70 degrees. That's where I'm the most comfortable. And I do have issues with hydration. I tend to not drink water. I'll get up in the morning, I'll have a couple of cups of coffee, and that's it. You know, I don't like drinking anything that doesn't have flavor to it. And to me, water doesn't have a flavor. And so I don't drink hardly any water, straight water. Now, when I was in Estes Park, that changed because, you know, eating at the, you know, taking your meals at the dining halls, you know, I'd have a cup of coffee in the morning, but for lunch and dinner, I'd have soda, you know, or Coke or whatever, a soft drink of some sort. But while I was working, I had a water bottle, and I would keep it full, and I would drink it. Because, you know, working in the cabins, working in the lodges, you know, you do get thirsty, so I would drink water. And being at that elevation, it helps to drink water, believe it or not. And also with the hiking, I had to stay hydrated. So that's one of the reasons why I really was bent on getting that Osprey Daylighter pack, because it has the two mesh pockets on either side to hold water bottles, just like their bigger backpacks. And so I got a smart water bottle. I got a couple of smart water bottles, and I would use them while I was hiking, as you could see. Of course, I never really got to, I mean, I used my Daylighter pack, you know, during the day when I was cleaning rooms and cabins, but I never really got to hike with it because I bought it after I did my hikes up to Sprague Lake, which I only took my water bottle with me. I didn't take a pack. And when I went up Flat Top Mountain, I took my messenger bag that I carried my laptop in, and carried snacks and water bottles and stuff in it. But when I start doing more hikes around here, I'm definitely going to use that Daylighter pack. And if I do the Lone Star Trail, I will definitely buy a smaller Osprey pack to do, because it's only 8 days, 8 or 9 days, depending on how fast I am. So I don't need a 65 liter backpack for that. So I'll probably end up getting like a 45 or a 50 liter Osprey pack. That should be big enough, and I'll go ahead and get the Z-Packs tent. I think I can get that for like under $300. But I have to, oh, excuse me. I have to get my vehicle first. So I got to save up for that now that I'm working at Amazon. And of course, you know me, I'm always on the lookout for new side hustles. I need to crack down on doing more user testing jobs. I'm always getting up, you know, alerts and notifications about new user testing jobs, but I just don't do them. And I do them on my phone and my laptop because they have certain ones you can only do on your phone, and certain ones you can only do on your laptop. And some of them you have to use Chrome, which is better on the laptop than the smartphone. But a lot of them nowadays are like video call type interviews about websites, or, you know, and I haven't done any of those yet. I don't know if I'd be comfortable with that. So I stick with the, you know, screen recording and voice recording on the phone or the computer to do my jobs. And I've been meaning to log into my Zazzle store and create more merchandise for that based on my photography, and little memes or whatever that I want to put on things, probably about hiking. So yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing to me right now that I wanted to talk about today was the willpower and the fortitude it takes to thru hike. And that I hope when I set out to do my Appalachian Trail thru hike, it's successful, and I can turn my channel around like Dixie and IBTAT has done, so it can be monetized. And I want my YouTube channel and Instagram and the like to be my full-time jobs in the future. And Darwin, even. I mean, people have issues with Darwin for whatever reasons. But again, he's been a big influencer with me. He's been able to turn thru hiking into a full-time job. Not only as a gear tester, but and I mean, he's successfully started a podcast. He set up his own media creation company where he's doing videos for profit. I mean, he did that video documentary about the Arizona Trail for the Arizona Trail Conservancy. I really admire people that have taken this passion and made it their life's work. And that's kind of where I want to go with it. And maybe eventually, once I get established with an intentional community and my philosophy, start a YouTube channel about that and the things that go on there. Whatever it is we end up naming the intentional community. And so, you know, that way I'll have multiple channels bringing in income stream, you know. And of course, there's little side hustles that I may start and do as well. Like the little commercial type multimedia business that I was talking about a couple of videos back, where I do videos for local mom and pop places and put it on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram Reels or whatever, you know, for a fee, you know. You know, and other little jobs like that I can do in my spare time. And that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. This is my second night off of 3. Then I'll go back to work at Amazon for 4 days. And basically I'm working Sunday night through Wednesday night. And I got Thursday, Friday, Saturday night off until I start my mandatory overtime days during peak season, and I'll work Saturday night too. And I would also want to get back into my writing. But, you know, I have issues with the writing. I have great plots for novels and book series and stuff. It's just writing them. You know, I get caught up in the details. I overplan everything. And I have problems with on-the-spot editing when I should just write and get the thoughts down on paper or computer screen and not worry about the editing at all until I'm done and then go back and edit. It's just, when it comes to writing, I'm a perfectionist, and I can't be a perfectionist. Not to that degree. I need to solidify my process, my writing process, to kind of take into consideration these faults that I have with writing, so I can overcome it and be successful. Because, as you know, I think I've said it in the past, that's a big issue with me. Feeling that I've never really accomplished anything in my life. It's a spot of depression for me, and it's something that I need to work with, or work on. I mean, I've gone to college and I didn't complete it because of whatever reasons. Mainly financial aid and finances, and also my age. I'm 50 years old now. I mean, what do I really need with a degree this close to retirement, you know? And with my disability considerations, you know, applying for Social Security disability and collecting my VA disability, you know, what jobs am I going to be able to do, you know? But beyond that, with my writing, I mean, I've published 2 collections of poetry, but nobody bought them. So that wasn't a success, other than, you know, there'll be a copy or 2 laying about somewhere till the end of time, you know? And with my spirituality, I mean, it's evolving, but I still struggle with it, you know, kind of defining it. But then again, do you really have to define your spirituality? It's yours. It can be whatever you want it to be, whatever you need it to be. So I don't know why it's even an issue, but with me it is. And I think that also plays along with my philosophy. I've defined it and I know it. It's just I need to write a book about it and get it out there in the public, you know? I mean, that may be something that other people are desperately needing and are just waiting for somebody to put it into words, and I need to do that. So, and I think that is part of where this through hike is going to help me. It's going to help me to figure out what's important in my life, what I need to fix, what I can do to fix it, and kind of plan on what I need to do going forward. So it's not just about having the will and fortitude to complete it. I'm like Bill Bryson. I need to figure things out, and the trail is going to help me to do that. That's my hope anyway. And hopefully, no matter if I finish it or not, I hope I do finish it. And I hope to go on to hike other trails. But if it turns out that what I hike is enough for me and I figure things out, I'll be happy with that. But I spend so much time being in the present that sometimes I don't remember the past actively, and I don't plan for the future. And you can't really live your life metaphorically paycheck to paycheck. It doesn't work like that, or you'll never get anywhere. You'll always be in the present, and the present is gonna evolve on its own unless you give it direction. So I need to figure out the direction I need to go and the areas I need to work on to be successful in my future. And who knows, 2 years from now, when I'm, you know, my girls are gone on their own and my wife has gone back to travel nursing, I'll have a decision to make. Am I still working at Amazon? Do I stay here and find an apartment somewhere? Or do I go do seasonal work? Do I go with her on her travel assignment and work on my books? Or find a remote job that I can work wherever I am? Or am I going to be out on the trail? So in 2 years, there's going to be a major crossroad situation that I'm going to have to make my choices on. I know we had that conversation a couple of walk and talks back about the free will and the power of choice. I'm going to be faced with that. And for now, I don't really have any choices to make. I'm working at Amazon for the foreseeable future. man, I needed to get with the 401k people. I totally forgot about that today. I'll have to do that before I go to bed in the morning. I need to get that figured out, because that's a potential. If Home Dude was using my identity to invest in a 401k and I get access to that account, I may have a windfall. I don't know how that would play out. And I did buy a Powerball ticket. It was up to $530 something million. So once it hits like $500 million, I'll buy a ticket. You know, just in the off chance that maybe I'll win, you know. I mean, because that's a lump sum cash amount of over $300,000. You know, the lump sum option. And once it gets that high, who cares about annuitized? The lump sum is more than enough, you know. I mean, oh, I should have done the annuitized and got the full $500,000. $300,000 just wasn't enough. No, $300,000 is way more than enough. I'd be happy with $10,000. Shit. Oh, man. Anyway. So yeah, I'll buy a Powerball or a Mega Millions ticket if it's high enough. And I can usually get by with buying them without my wife knowing. You know, whenever I'm at the store, just get like $5 cash back and buy a $3 Powerball or Mega Millions with the multiplier, and buy a $2 scratcher, you know. And I'm sure if my wife watches this video, I'll hear about it. Stop buying the lottery tickets. That's not what she really sounds like, but anyway. The moon is pretty. So I just wanted to share those thoughts about through hikers and what I've seen that it takes to be to complete it successfully, you know. Strong willpower and fortitude, and how it has served them and how it's influenced me. So let me turn y'all back around. As always, if you haven't done already, hit that subscribe button, and if you found any worth in these videos, go ahead and hit that like button. And as always, you can leave a comment, just don't be negative. And we shall see you next time. Later.